Spring is in the air, which means now is the time to save during spring outdoor power deals at the Home Depot. Make cleanup easier when you go cordless with the Milwaukee M18 string trimmer, designed to deliver more runtime, more speed, and maximum performance. Then grab a select Milwaukee fuel attachment, like the pole saw, edger, or brush cutter, included at no extra cost when you buy the Milwaukee M18 string trimmer. Shop 7 days of spring outdoor power deals at the Home Depot, now through April 29th.
This Old House Radio Hour gets support from Renewal by Andersen. Are your windows drafty, inefficient, or just plain old? Renewal by Andersen's Great Window Refresh event is on now. $400 off every window, $850 off every door, plus no interest for a full year. Their windows are custom built, installed by certified pros, and made with exclusive Fibrex material that won't warp, crack, or rot. Call 855-898-4800 or visit fullservicereplacement.com. But don't wait, this deal won't last. See website for warranty details, minimum purchase required. Interest accrues during promotional period, but is waived if paid in full within 12 months. From LAist and APM American Public Media, it's This Old House Radio Hour. I'm Jen Largis. How the devices meant to make your home smarter can make it more vulnerable, and the simple steps that will keep you safe.
If you're not updating your software or if you're reusing the same password that can be found on pretty much any website at this point, you're a very easy target.
Growing up in Queens, Alonzo Bodden just wanted a home. 30 years later, he had one in the LA Hills.
For 30 years, I always wanted to live in one of those houses south of the boulevard. My friend Ava was in tears when I bought the house because she knew how much it meant to live up there.
This spring, the difference between full blooms and bare branches comes down to one thing: when and how you prune. Hydrangea 101 with our landscape contractor, Jen Nawada. All of this, plus we're answering your home improvement questions at 877-864-7460. Coming up next. It's This Old House Radio Hour. Criminals don't need to break a window or crawl through a vent anymore. They can come in through your Wi-Fi. These days, the tech meant to smarten your home is often what makes it most vulnerable. Caitlin Sarian, known online as Cybersecurity Girl, joins us to show where the risks are and how to lock them out. So, Caitlin, what is the most common mistake you see people make when setting up the smart device on their network?
Yeah, it's probably reusing the same unsecure password that's very basic, or not automatically applying software updates when they first install the software.
So having those set to auto update so that you're not missing an update.
Exactly. So you don't have to worry about it. I mean, if it's auto update, it's just going on in the background and you're already protecting yourself. So it's one less thing for you to think about.
Yeah, what's happening in those updates that is related to security purposes? Because I think most people just think that's sort of giving them new functions in the different programs. They don't really think of it as a security-related update always.
Yeah. I mean, I would say almost every update is security-related update. They're always fixing and patching bugs or holes in the system. And a lot of times I always tell the skeptics before like they do an iPhone update or anything like that, I'm like, it says what it is. Like it says like fixing bugs and updates. But a lot of it is there's, holes in the software that they find and they want to patch it to immediately to protect you, honestly, from hackers getting in and exploiting those holes. And that's what honestly happens with a lot of the IoT devices is when software isn't updated, they have active vulnerabilities. That's what we say in cyber, which means that there's very easy ways for people to just get into your system. But if you're patching it all the time, then it's not an active hole.
And what do you mean by IoT device?
It's called Internet of Things, but it's basically anything that's connected to the internet. So if you have a Nest and you're able to, use that online and connect it, it's an IoT device. If you have a baby monitor, anything that's like a smart device.
I mean, even anything down to the new appliances are connected to Wi-Fi.
Yep, exactly.
How interesting. So besides some obvious reasons like monitoring cameras, why would people want to monitor or manipulate our smart devices?
Yeah. So hackers hack for multiple reasons. One is just to have fun and see what they can get into. And two is for money, to make money. And that's the main one. A lot of people have that exact question. It's like, why would they do that to me? So it doesn't really matter who you are. If it's an easy way to get in, they'll do it. Like if you're not updating your software or if you're reusing the same password that can be found on pretty much any website at this point, you're a very easy target.
Now, do you have any advice for saving those passwords? Because I know those passwords can be impossible, really, to remember if you're using the uniquely created one. Is there any tips for securing or storing those safely so that you can have access to them, but other people can't?
Yeah. So that's always such a great question. I use a password manager because it generates unique passwords for me and saves it on my device. And it makes it really easy for me to like log in because it can auto populate. And if you have an iPhone, they do that. I'm pretty sure an Android has a password manager as well. The other thing is it depends on like the age range, right? For my parents that are at home, like you literally using like a desktop computer, I'm like, you can write it down and like put that little notebook in a lock cabinet next to your computer and you'll be fine. I don't think there's going to be like a burglar that's going to come in and try to find your password book. Like, let's be real.
Right. That's what they're after.
If you're traveling a lot, I wouldn't suggest you put it in like a little book. If you don't want to use a password manager, I would recommend there's like a notes on the iPhone. I think there's probably a notes in Android. And now iPhone allows you to lock down your notes. So I would put it in a note and then I would lock down your note.
And when you're buying devices, is there anything specific that you recommend people looking for so that they're getting devices that have software updates that are, properly, I don't even know if encrypted is the right word.
So what I always say is look at who owns the device and who you're buying it from, like where are they located, what type of information. They're actually pretty upfront with like what type of information that they're collecting too. So it's not just the fact that you're protecting yourself from getting hacked, right? There's also the other side of it where those companies are actually using your data in some way, shape, and form, usually. And so do you feel comfortable with that company and that company's security? Because if that company gets breached, and we've seen this so many times, there's been so many companies that get breached, and I think a lot of us just kind of tune out now because we're numb to the breaches. But if it's data that you don't want to be breached, I would be very mindful of like, okay, is this a Chinese-based company? Because they have very different rules in China about data and data privacy. And so it's a risk-based decision. Like you guys can decide on what is best for you and your family and your friends and your loved ones or yourself. And looking at the company that you're buying it from. And then again, looking at what data that they collect on you and how they're using that. And even who they're sharing it with too. You can look at that as well.
What is the best way to find that kind of information? If I wanted to know, say, my thermostat, what information are they collecting? Where is it going? Is there a standard place that every company has to note these things? Or
legally, they have to tell you in their privacy policy. So if you go on their website and you go down, they make it very small and hard to find.
Of course.
And then also the privacy policy is very legally.
Mm-hmm.
But what I usually do is I plug that privacy policy into an AI platform and say like, hey, given this is a privacy policy, can you please tell me like where my data is going and where like who they're giving access to? That way it's just really simple at the top that I don't have to worry about it.
So Caitlin, do you have a simple fix or a tip for making sure your network is safe from attackers?
Yeah, I would just say like change your admin password for your network. So it's super easy to do. If you go to the bottom of your Wi-Fi box, it will teach you how to log in as an admin. And then it's very easy to change that password. And if you're already in that admin panel, when you go change your password, right, there's a way you can actually see who's sitting on your network or what devices are still on your network. And so what I would do is I would kind of remove them. I would look at it maybe every 3 to 6 months and just see like what is still sitting on your network. Because I get a lot of questions of like, how do I know if someone's like hacked into my computer or hacked into my phone? And this is a little bit different, but you can see if someone's on your network pretty easily because you can see who's connected to it.
Caitlin, thank you for your expertise. We appreciate you being here today.
Thanks so much for having me.
That was Caitlin Sarian. For more information on how to keep your home safe, go to cybersecurity.girl.com. Right now, we're answering your home improvement and DIY questions. Call us at 877-864-7460. That's 877-864-7460. Or you can leave us a voicemail anytime. Hello, you're on This Old House Radio Hour.
Hi, good morning. So my name is Jeanette Smith, and I'm calling from Amherst, New York.
Hi, Jeanette. What's your question today?
So I have a ceramic tile shower stall. House was built in the 60s, and I wanted to add a corner shelf in it. So I wanted to know the proper way to install or mount a corner shelf in a ceramic tile shower stall. And also, if you have any tips on where to try and find a style of shelf that would match or complement the original seafoam green tile.
Absolutely. We've got Zach Detmore, a general contractor for the show, here on the line to help us out.
All right. So you've got an old shower and you want a corner shelf and you don't want to bust and break everything. Is that right?
Not yet. Yeah, we're just need a little something to make it a little more functional till we can get around to that great remodel somewhere down the line.
What do you think, Jen? You got an instinct on this? I've got an idea, but sometimes you're sharper than I am with this stuff.
I mean, I always tend to get nervous around tile because anytime I know there's amazing ways to drill and install, but I always try all of the no drill methods first just because I'm nervous.
Right. So we've got the hook over the shower head option. We've got the suction cup option. We've got the...
There's adhesives too. I mean, you
true.
could go a little more
a little more permanent than a tension rod.
I mean, I'm not shy about making holes as long as we can seal them up properly. I'm pretty handy, so I can tackle some stuff. So if we want to go aggressive, I'm up for whatever options you have to offer.
Okay, Zach, what do you got?
What do I have? Next question. No, I think I got an idea. Are the grout lines horizontal? So the corners sort of, the grout line weaves through?
Everything's lined up. They're square tiles, 4-inch squares, and everything all horizontal and vertically, everything's lined up.
Okay, so here we go. If you search metal corner shelf aluminum shower, those would be the keywords I would put in. They sell a metal corner shelf that, unfortunately, architecturally, from a historical significance standpoint, it's meh, right? It's not going to look as beautiful as like a ceramic tile corner shelf that matched what you have. But you're not going to find that easily, so we could throw that option out anyway. But basically, this shelf has little small tabs that stick out that will go in your grout joint. And I've put them in using a small diamond wheel on a Dremel. Are you familiar with like what would you call it? Like a high-speed rotary tool. It's got a little cutter on it. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have those. When we bought the house, my husband regrouted the whole shower, so we have grinders and cutters and all different kinds of
They're pros
gadgetry
over there.
Yeah, you got this.
Skip ahead, Zach.
So all you do, you've got 4 tabs. So you're going to drill out the grout, maybe a little bit of tile, just so those tabs fit in. And then you're going to run a bead of sealant around the corner shelf, and that's it. You're done. If you decide to remove it, you'll have to add grout to those areas where you did the grinding, but you can get them in white, nickel, chrome, black. There's some different colors and different styles and shapes. And they're all installed the same way. So I think that's what I would do because it will match enough. It'll do the job, but it won't sort of take away from what's there. It's just going to sort of, once there's bottles on it, it'll just sort of support the bottles and give you more storage.
And that'll be a nice sturdy shelf for some, like a couple of shampoo bottles.
Oh, yeah, certainly. Once it's in, it's going nowhere.
Okay. Do you have any recommendations on what kind of sealant that I would want to use?
I think I would use like 100% silicone, assuming you go with a white one. If you go with something that's metal, or like you said, the tile's a color, then maybe go clear to try and not sort of highlight that contrast, like between tile, whatever the color the shelf is, and the sealant. So if it's white, go with white. If it's something else, go with clear, but 100% silicone.
Okay, great. Hey, thanks so much. Hey, one last thing. Are there any building codes that I need to be mindful of or aware of in this project?
Not one. You are good to go.
Okay.
We very rarely say that out loud.
You can put 100 shelves in there and no problem.
Awesome.
Jeanette, we wish you luck with it.
Take care.
Coming up, we answer more of your home improvement and DIY questions. Call us at 877-864-7460. That's 877-864-7460. It's This Old House Radio Hour.
Spring is in the air, which means now is the time to save during spring outdoor power deals at the Home Depot. Make cleanup easier when you go cordless with the Milwaukee M18 string trimmer, designed to deliver more runtime, more speed, and maximum performance. Then grab a select Milwaukee fuel attachment, like the pole saw, edger, or brush cutter, included at no extra cost when you buy the Milwaukee M18 string trimmer. Shop 7 days of spring outdoor power deals at the Home Depot, now through April 29th.
It seems like just yesterday when I captured my son's first steps or when we recorded his soccer games on VHS tapes. Those moments are gone. But the old home movies and pictures don't need to be. That's why my son created Legacy Box.
That's right, Mom. Over 1 million families have used Legacy Box to digitally preserve their old home movies and photos.
Simply fill Legacy Box with your old camcorder tapes, film, and photos. They will professionally digitize and send them back on DVDs, thumb drive, or the cloud.
With Mother's Day around the corner, it's the perfect time to get your Legacy Box and save your family's history. After all, few things are as important as protecting your precious memories. Give your mom a Mother's Day present she'll never forget. Take advantage of our Mother's Day sale, which starts now. It's our best deal of the year. Save up to 60% off. Visit legacybox.com/keepsake and for a limited time, get an incredible 60% off your order. That's legacybox.com/keepsake for 60% off. legacybox.com/keepsake.
Today's episode is supported by Quo, spelled Quo, the modern alternative to run your business communications. Quo understands just how much the basic stuff matters, like how you should talk to customers and keep your team on the same page. Their cleaner, more modern setup can make everything feel smoother and bring the level up mindset to your business. Quo allows your entire team to handle calls and texts from one shared number, so there's no more missed messages or disconnected conversations. Since everyone sees the full thread, replies are faster and customers feel genuinely cared for. Make this the year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free. Plus, get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/thisoldhouse. That's QUO.com/thisoldhouse. Quo. No missed calls, no missed customers. You're listening to This Old House Radio Hour. I'm Jen Largis. Right now we're tackling your home improvement and DIY questions. Call us now at 877-864-7460. That's 877-864-7460. Or you can leave us a voicemail anytime. Hello, you're on This Old House Radio Hour.
Hey, Jen, I'm Ryan from just outside of Chicago, Illinois.
Hey, Ryan, what's your question today?
All right, I have an electrical issue and I'm out of ideas.
All right.
I have a ceiling fan in my kitchen and it's controlled by a light switch on the wall. The light switch went bad and I verified it was bad with a multimeter. I had power going into the switch, but I had no power coming out. I purchased a new switch and I turned off all the circuit breakers and I noticed none of them turned the power off to the switch. I turned off the main to the house, but I have a backup generator and that backup generator kicked in and reestablished power. I then decided to make the great decision of changing the switch with the power still going to it.
Oh, no.
Well, after a very short fireworks display, I now have no power going to the switch. I checked the panel again.
Do you have any power going to your arm?
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, I jumped about 5 feet when it happened, to be honest with you.
Oh, God.
But I checked the panel again, and no circuit breakers were tripped, and no GFCIs were tripped. And I checked all the circuit breakers, and they are working. I checked them with the multimeter. And yeah, so I'm all out of ideas, and I'm wondering if my house is actually haunted at this point.
Well, we've got Zach Detmore, general contractor for the show, and Heath Eastman, electrician for the show, both here to help. Guys.
I know what this is.
Are you going to the old haunted house routine again? You are, aren't you?
No. First thing, I applaud your tenacity for pulling this off. I like where this is going. And I also use your line. Oh, I'm just outside Chicago. I use that all the time. Where are you from, Zach? I'm from just outside Manhattan. Where? New Jersey, you know? This guy lives in Wisconsin somewhere, probably.
No, actually, I'm actually from Chicago, if you check my area code. But the town we live in now, it's so small that you sneeze and you drive through it. So if I were to say what town it is, people would just be able to know right away who it is. Yeah. I'm the only Ryan in this entire town. So I'd rather not say.
That's exactly what I don't know what it is. I'll defer to Heath on this one. I have no idea.
Well, first off, Ryan, I like how you put safety third by replacing the switch live.
Yeah, no kidding.
Well, that was going to be one of my first questions is how did you test it? But you tested it with a multimeter. So you had 120 volts before you started, realized nothing was going through the switch, and decided that was bad, right?
That's correct.
Okay. And then the generator was running the whole time. So something had to trip somewhere unless the wiring is extremely old or we have a loose connection. How old is the house?
2007.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, what? I wasn't expecting that at all.
Exactly. Yeah.
I thought he was going to say
50s.
1818.
Keith, if you do need to work on electrical and you have a generator, what is the right protocol?
To disable the generator at the same time. So on the panel or also at the electric meter, there should be tags identifying that there is a generator on property, where it's located, and that there is a backup system ready to start in case you lose utility power. So you want to make sure you turn that generator off so it can't start, or turn the breaker off that sends power in, and then turn the main off.
Okay, so you disable the generator first, and then your main.
Correct. Yeah, that way it doesn't get a chance to start. So that way you can make sure the entire system's down. So a 2007 house, so we're going by the newer wiring codes. Couple of things. It's either a faulty breaker, not too common, but it's possible. But you do have some in the kitchen. Would you have had arc fault breakers for that? One of the breakers with a push and reset button on it as well?
Yeah, the GFCI. Yeah, I checked all of them. The house is really small. I know where they're all at. I'm actually looking at 3 of them right now.
Okay.
And obviously, this happened a few weeks ago. So yeah, I already went through all the GFCIs and none of them tripped.
Okay, so if it's 2007, the ceiling light in the kitchen should have been on something besides your kitchen counter receptacles. So those GFCIs shouldn't have protected that. It should have been completely isolated to either a lighting circuit or something separate. So we either have a breaker that's not working that didn't reset properly. I don't know if you can turn them all off and then back on, see if it feels spongy at all, or if it feels like it's clicking, a nice solid contact when you turn it back on. You check the switch again with the multimeter, and nothing was coming out, right, on either side?
That's correct. And I checked the wiring going into the switch, and yeah, there's no power at all going to it.
Is there any chance there's a sub panel for the generator? Does the generator run the entire house, or does it feed a separate panel?
It has its own panel.
I like this idea, Heath.
So my guess would be if it has its own panel, you probably have some of the basics on there, like your refrigeration, heating, cooling, and maybe lights in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it might be coming off of that panel where it's having an issue, or if that's fed with a 2-pole breaker. A lot of times they're fed with a 2-pole 50 or 2-pole 60 out of the main to the sub panel for the generator. Sometimes that needs to be turned off and reset because one leg may not reset in that breaker, even though it looks like it may have. So you have that sub panel that probably came with it. So either a double pole breaker didn't reset or one side of it tripped, which is unusual, but it can happen, where you can turn that physically off and then back on, or one of the other breakers did the same thing. The other option is there's a loose connection somewhere else. So when that had the short, it actually opened that loose connection up to the point that it isn't there anymore. I mean, when you tripped this, you didn't find any breaker tripped at all?
No, not at all. And I thought that was the strangest thing. I never would even thought that was possible, to be honest.
And Heath, what would be the negative of, I've had situations where I'm in an old house and it's confusing me, which doesn't apply to this house, but I feel like I flicked everything off individually.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll skip as I'm going through the process. So is there anything wrong with just turning off every single breaker in both panel and then turning it on?
Yeah, I think that's where you're at this point. Almost turn every single one off if you want to go down that way. That way you know everything's physically turned off, and then just start right at the top and turn them back on one at a time and see if you get something to reconnect. If not, at that point, it's hard to say depending on how the home is wired, but maybe start taking the fan down. I don't know if the power goes to the fan first and then drops down to the switch, if there's power in the switch box, if that's where it started. It's hard to say without looking, but you may be calling an electrician at that point.
Okay. Yeah. I was thinking it was something inside the panel for the generator, but I didn't want to even mess around with turning the generator off because, and obviously that fear that's not going to come back on for some reason. So, but, Yeah, this has been a mystery now for a month or so. So hopefully it's going to be easy. So if I open up the panel box for the generator, is it going to look like?
Well, I can't tell you to open up the panel box for the generator. I don't want you doing that. Okay. I would just have you turn all the breakers off and then turn them back on one at a time and feel, the solid contact of going off and then going back on. Then you at least knows that it's engaged. And if we did have something trip on one of the two poles, hopefully that'll re-engage.
All right, guys. I appreciate the recommendations here, and I will get going on that. And if I can't figure it out, I won't take the chance anymore, and I'll just call an electrician out.
Good call, Ryan. Yeah. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, guys. Have a good day.
See ya.
Call us now to have your home improvement or DIY question answered. 877-864-7460. That's 877-864-7460. Or leave us a voicemail anytime. Hello, you're on This Old House Radio Hour.
Hi, my name is Stephanie. I am from South Pasadena, California.
Hi, Stephanie. What's your question today?
So we bought a house this past summer. It's a 1908 built Craftsman. And kind of like expected, it's like a little bit wonky. The floors are not completely straight, but we want to move in right away. So we didn't really do anything downstairs, but upstairs, it's kind of like kind of buckling a little bit here and there. But we replaced the carpet and we moved in. And we did get someone to come in and look at it. And the people who were putting carpet was like, we can't do anything about it. So we moved in. But now there are areas that are it's kind of obvious it's lifted a little bit, and areas where it squeaks a lot. So I just wanted to know, is there anything we can do now that we've put in new carpet, or is it just something we have to live with from now on?
Right, absolutely. Well, we've got This Old House general contractor, Zach Detmore. This problem is not unique to her. Is that right, Zach?
Yeah, I actually found the solution to this problem watching an episode of This Old House, or maybe it was Ask This Old House, but it was definitely Tom Silva fixing this problem. You know what I'm talking about, Jen?
I do, absolutely. I put this trick in my back pocket. I've had it always.
Yeah, so what he did was there's this tool that sort of looks like 3 pins with a hole in the middle. And there's a special screw, and you screw through the carpet, and this tool sort of pushes down on the carpet and the substrate below, and then the screw snaps off, and you've sort of fixed the squeak through the carpet. So that's sort of what comes to mind for me. I think the reason your carpet contractor said they couldn't do anything is because they're in the business of installing carpet, not fixing subfloors.
Mm-hmm. Fair.
So they were correct to say they couldn't do anything, but what they should have said is have someone fix this before we do something, right? But
is that like a temporary fix? And then also, since this is the second floor, does that still work?
Totally, it works. So what we do, we did this last year actually, is we'll walk around the room, and wherever we feel movement underfoot, we'll take some blue tape and then mark out where those squeaks are, and then we'll come back with the tool, and then you do have to sort of search around for a joist. The only place you really want to be wary about it is if you're near a bathroom or near hydronic heat pipes where you think there's a possibility you're going to screw down through a pipe and hit it. So if you're in a bedroom and you're well far away from infrastructure, you're pretty much good to go. But if you are sort of right next to a bathroom or right next to a heat pipe, then you may want to either not do it in that area or use a thermal imaging camera if it's a heat pipe or what have you, to sort of get a sense so you're not just sending screws into pipes. If things are done properly, they should be far enough away from the subfloor for you not to do it. But last year on a different job, we screwed down a pipe, screwed down through a floor, and there was a pipe there and caused a leak. So it does happen. But this is a solution. It's permanent. You can do it on the second floor, and it's very easy. So I think you got this. Just search online for a carpet squeak repair kit. You'll see it, and you're off to the races.
So this is something I can do myself then?
Totally. Yeah, you'll need a cordless drill or any sort of drill, and you're good to go.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right, Stephanie, thanks for the call. We wish you luck.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Call us now at 877-864-7460, 877-864-7460, or you can leave us a voicemail. Hello, you're on This Old House Radio Hour.
Hi, this is Mike Heinbach. I'm calling from San Francisco, California.
Hi, Mike. What's your question today?
Essentially, I have like water coming into the front corner garage of our house, and it's it almost seems like it's like soaking into the foundation, like the concrete of the foundation. And I've tried a number of things to try to like mediate it. The houses in San Francisco are right next to one another, and just outside our house is like the front steps of the neighbors. I've tried like sealing up all of the cracks and the spaces in between that. And at this point, like even when it rains, like I don't see the water coming in from above anywhere. It almost comes up like almost up from the ground, but it's like getting the mud sill wet and like maybe even the bottom of like the 2x4 is wet. We don't have any plumbing on that side of the house, and there's no real drains as far as I can tell. There also happens to be a pipe underneath those stairs, and I've asked the owner about the pipe. They seem to think that it's just like an old pipe that doesn't go to anything, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But I'm just kind of wondering, like, next steps to try and get this figured out and figure out where the water is going.
Absolutely. Little investigation here. Well, we've got This Old House general contractor Zach Detmore and Mason Mark McCullough both on the line to help us figure this out.
Hey, Mike, it's Zach here.
Hi, Zach.
Does it only get wet inside when it's raining, or is it always wet?
So it gets wet more so when it rains to a larger extent, and then it takes a very, very long time to dry out. I should add my neighbor, he recently, like this kind of started and coincided timing wise when he recently like flipped his house, and they took out a very old, like 100-year-old brick foundation, and they poured like all brand new concrete, and that concrete is like up against my foundation of the house. And I was kind of wondering if that might be playing into it as well, if it's like too large, or if it would like act as a sponge and soak up water. I don't know.
Mike, do you know how long this has been going on?
The water issue has been going on for about a year and a half.
Okay. And how does that coincide with the new concrete?
Yeah, the new concrete was probably about 2 years ago. It was about a year and a half ago when I first noticed it. Sometimes we go through, long dry spells. So it could be coinciding with that.
Okay. So water finds the least path of resistance. I always tell people when you have a water problem to use logic and correlation. And I say that slowly because you need to investigate with that premise. So the logic here would be that you have a new hard material. That concrete is not going to be the sponge that you think it might be. At one point, it repels. And that's when it starts to send water in different directions.
Is there any chance that because these properties are so close together, maybe they used a French drain or something that is really directing water to come between those buildings and then run off in a new place?
That sounds spot on, Jen. I see a lot when we're doing additions. There's a detail where there's perforated pipe at the footing, Mark.
Yes.
But certain municipalities will make sure we're bringing it to a drywall, but a lot of architects will just say, bring it to daylight.
Yes.
Which isn't always possible.
Right.
And therefore, you just have this pipe sitting there going nowhere.
Right.
But it's gonna sort of back up and channel water nicely around that footing. So,
yes.
It could be a situation like that.
Helps your property but hurts your neighbor.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that, Zach.
Yeah. If it does have anything to do with that pipe that's under the stairs or drained, do I call a plumber, or do I call just another contractor? Do I need like somebody that deals with foundations in particular, or?
It's not the old pipe. It's the concrete. You're going to have to breach the subject with your neighbor, unfortunately. I don't think you can hire someone to work on someone else's stuff.
To dig holes in their yard.
This sounds messy.
Yes.
The situation sounds like it's going to be no fun.
So the neighbor part of this is where you're going to bum out, because when fingers start to point, no one likes to be on either side. But if you have a good relationship with your neighbor, kiss that goodbye. No, kidding.
Yeah,
I'm only
yeah,
kidding.
no.
That's a joke.
No.
That's a joke. Mike, you sound like you know how to, handle the personality tactfully. So
we've been dealing with the flip for the past, oh my gosh, it took them like 3 years to flip the house completely.
Yikes.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. It's been really, really helpful information.
Okay, great. Good luck with that.
All right. Thank you so much.
He's going to have to call into one of those like This Old Lawyer podcasts for this one.
Yeah,
I think.
exactly.
If you have a question for us, leave us a voicemail on our hotline. That's 877-864-7460. And we can answer your question next time. Coming up, comedian Alonzo Bodden shows us his old house.
One of the moves in comedy, one of the times you know you're moving up, is when you start staying in hotels and stop staying in that condo because you don't know who was there before you or how well it was cleaned.
That's next on This Old House Radio Hour. It's This Old House Radio Hour. I'm Jen Largess. Coming up, if your hydrangeas aren't blooming, we have the fix with This Old House landscape contractor Jen Nawada. But first, we go to Woodland Hills, California. Growing up, comedian Alonzo Bodden's dream was simple, just to have a home. Over time, that idea stretched into something bigger, shaped by years on the road, in clubs, and borrowed spaces, building a life piece by piece. 30 years later, he finally found it in the hills of Los Angeles, elevator included.
Hi, I'm Alonzo Bodden. I am a stand-up comedian from Wait, Wait, Don't Tell Me, and this is my old house. I grew up in St. Albans, Jamaica. In New York, I'm the only guy to come out of there that's not a rapper. I look back now. The fact that I had a house was a dream. It was a nice house. It wasn't a mansion, but it was a home. I went to high school with a lot of guys from Brooklyn and the Bronx. They considered me living in the country. I had a backyard. I had to mow the lawn. I tell everyone I live a dream I didn't have. I went to aviation high school. In the 70s, New York had a ton of trade high schools, and I graduated with my licenses as an airplane mechanic. My only dream was to head west. So when I graduated from aviation and I was hired by Lockheed Aircraft in Burbank, I was headed to LA, so that dream came true. I could always make people laugh. I always had that gift. From the first time I did stand-up, I absolutely loved it. I had no doubt that I was going to do it. But I still got my toolbox in the garage, so if it doesn't work out. The first apartment I really remember was like Melrose Place. It was a square building with the pool in the middle. The pool was the central gathering place. Some beautiful women lived in the building. And I was like a big guy. I could move stuff around. So they'd be like, hey, Alonzo, can you move the couch? And then they'd make me dinner. One of them is my dearest friend to this day. We became friends then. We've been friends for 40 years since then. By now, I was working as a comic. There used to be a thing they called the comedy condo, and that was when you're on the road, these comedy clubs would have a condo near the club, usually like a 2-bedroom, maybe a 3-bedroom. The comics working that weekend, you would stay in the apartment. Of course, the headliner got the bedroom with the TV because he was the headliner, and the opener would sleep in a little bedroom or maybe on a fold-out couch. That was hell. One of the moves in comedy, one of the times you know you're moving up, is when you start staying in hotels and stop staying in that condo because you don't know who was there before you or how well it was cleaned over there. So you have to know the LA area, particularly the San Fernando Valley. Ventura Boulevard is the main street. And when you move south of Ventura Boulevard, you start seeing those houses you see on TV, the houses built into the side of the hill. And I always loved those houses. I always dreamed of living there. So I saw this house in Woodland Hills. It's beautiful, modern. It's one of those square houses that's like a giant box. I like those type of houses, that modern look. So I bought that house in 2017. The first floor is the entryway and the garage. The second floor is the rentable apartment. And the third and fourth floor are where I live. It had a giant great room. It was all wood and huge. It had an office off of that where I had a view of the valley from the window in my office. The bedroom was big. The bathroom was like a barbershop. That was the one part of the house I updated. I redid it, made that really modern. I put it in the bathtub because it looked really cool. I used it once. I'm a shower guy. But I think the garage is very important. I like having a big garage because I like toys. My garage in that house was a very deep 2-car garage. I always called my garage my Jay Leno starter set. I might have 1 or 2 cars and 3 or 4 bikes. To Jay, that would be cute. In the master bedroom, I had a chair and a half, this giant chair and ottoman. In 2021, I got a Great Dane. I would sit in that chair and Hulk would lay on the ottoman, and it was funny because when he was a puppy, he would lay on the corner or he would lay on top of my feet. By the time he grew up, that was his ottoman. He took over the whole thing. And later, I had a girlfriend and she would try to snuggle up in the chair with me. And then after a while, she kind of realized, like, that's your chair, isn't it? And I was like, yeah, this is our chair. Sorry. I love you, but no, me and Hulk don't share the chair. I loved living south of the boulevard. I was near the intersection of Topanga and Mulholland, 2 of the most beautiful motorcycle roads in the world. That was in my backyard. For 30 years, I always wanted to live in a hill house. I always wanted to live in one of those houses south of the boulevard. My friend Ava was in tears when I bought the house because she knew how much it meant and how long I wanted to live up there. So she knew what an achievement that was. Your home should be peaceful. It should be your own space. Peaceful is the overriding word. When you travel, I've stayed in some really nice hotels. I've stayed in some dumpy hotels. But when I come home, it's quiet. It's my own space. Now it's me and my dog. We hang out. But there's a peace leaving the road behind, leaving the crowds and the noise. You know, when you work in entertainment, when you work in live entertainment, it's always noisy. Home is quiet. Peace, that's what comes with owning a home.
That was Alonzo Bodden. For stand-up dates and media appearances, go to alonzobodden.com. Water heaters are a big expense, and many see them as an accident waiting to happen. If your hot water fails, that can be 30 to even 80 gallons of water flooding onto the floor. Here are the signs you should replace your hot water heater. Let's start by looking at the top of your water tank. If you see the fittings at the top have any rust or corrosion, that can be a sign the lines are starting to fail. If you look at the body of your water heater and notice any rust on the seams, it could mean that the inches of insulation that protect the inner tank have been compromised and might be leaking. If you have an electric hot water tank, you also want to check near the control panel for any signs of rust. Moving on to the very bottom of the water tank, if you notice crust near the spigot or on the bottom seam of the tank, it could mean that your tank is either failing or that you have a very slow leak. It's also important to make sure that there are no pools of water or moisture underneath the tank. Other signs that you might need a new hot water heater: you have less hot water than usual, or it takes much longer for your water to heat up. Lastly, if your hot water looks brown, rusty, or has a metallic odor, you should give your plumber a call. For more tips like this, and for help choosing your next hot water heater, visit thisoldhouse.com. Hydrangeas can be one of the most rewarding plants in your yard, with big, beautiful blooms and lush green leaves that become the centerpiece of your landscape. But only if you know a few simple tricks. Get it wrong, and you may get no blooms at all. This Old House landscape contractor, Jen Nawada, tells you how to help your hydrangeas bloom this season. Jen, there are so many hydrangea varieties. How can you sort of easily tell what you have in your yard?
So first, look at bloom time. It might help you identify what you have if something blooms earlier in the season, like the smooth hydrangea, the Annabelle hydrangeas, versus a panicle hydrangea like the limelight hydrangeas, which bloom later in the season. So identifying what time and sometimes what color can help you figure out what you have. And also look at the leaf as well.
Okay, and what do we need to know about the leaf to help identify?
The shape of the leaf, if it's a big leaf hydrangea or a mountain hydrangea, it's called Hydrangea serrata, and it has more of like jagged edges on the leaves. Oak leaf hydrangea, it's a giveaway. The leaf is in the shape of an oak leaf. Oh. And then the climbing hydrangea has a completely different leaf as well. Smooth hydrangea has a smaller leaf. So if you can't figure out from the blooms, like have a look at the leaves and then take a picture of both and then try to identify that.
So I think this is where I'm going wrong, because we have, when we moved into this house, beautiful hydrangeas, and we trimmed them back in the fall, which I'm guessing is a no-no.
Well, when you say we have beautiful, what kind do you think you had?
I don't know. I'm going to blame my husband for the timing and me for not knowing what we had. I think we were both equally guilty in this because we didn't get any blooms the next year.
If you know what plant it is, that will help you indicate when to prune it. So the limelights and the Annabelles, you cut them back like towards the end of winter, early spring, before the new growth emerges. Another way to identify it, just thinking like the shape of the flower, like the mop head hydrangeas are the big leaf hydrangeas. So they have more of like a rounded ball shape. Mm-hmm. Whereas the oak leaf hydrangeas have more of a panicle cone flower shape. Mm. And if you cut back the big leaf hydrangeas in the fall, you're cutting off the blooms for the next season.
Okay.
Because they bloom off of old wood. That means the previous year's growth.
So if you have hydrangeas that fall in the category of they bloom on new growth, you want to trim them in the late winter, early spring. But when do you trim the ones that grow on old wood?
I mean, typically rule of thumb, cut a flower back after it's done blooming. It's turned brown on the stem. Cut it back then. And then when you're looking at to reshape your whole shrub, that's when you have to be more particular about bloom times. So the Annabelles and the limelights, early spring, and usually because when you cut something back, it's going to encourage growth as well. Mm-hmm. But here's the other caveat, like endless summers. This is what does people's heads in, because they created a cultivar that blooms on new wood and old wood. And I mean, that's a product that's just keeps selling and selling because it's kind of, I don't want to say idiot proof, but
sounds like my kind of flower.
But if you prune it properly, like after it's done blooming that season, like at the end of the summer, and then you're going to have double the blooms because it blooms on new wood and old wood.
Okay. Is there ever a time where you cut off too much or you let it grow too tall? I think we haven't done anything for a few years because we were nervous, and now I'm worried to cut off too much, or I don't really want them super, super tall. I know some people love that, but this isn't an area where that makes sense for us.
See if it blooms this year, mm-hmm. Do a test. And if not, just go for it and chop it to whatever size you want. With back to the limelight, which is the panicle hydrangea, or the Annabelle hydrangea, the smooth hydrangea, you could cut those to whatever height. You could like seriously, like I have one in my yard was 6 feet tall. I cut it back to 3 feet tall, and it just was so nice and compact the next year. Tons of blooms because they bloom on the new growth.
Okay. So if you know you want to add hydrangeas and you're looking at your yard, what's sort of the thought process someone should go through? Should we be walking around our yard at different times of day to see where the sun is? Like, what's the best way to figure out what our yard has for sunlight and then what is appropriate there?
Yes. Knowing the shade, sun pattern, that's very important. Try to calculate how much sun each bed gets. Mm-hmm. You know, something like the oak leaf hydrangea thrives in the shade. The big leaf hydrangeas, like the endless summers, they do not want to be in late burning afternoon scorching sun. They look like they're wilting. But as soon as you give them some water, they perk right back up, but do best in morning sun. Limelights, Annabelles, scorching sun all day long, they could take it. They thrive that way. climbing hydrangea and then the mountain hydrangea, they could also tolerate half-day sun. And then soil is another thing, because sometimes you buy a blue hydrangea and it all of a sudden turns pink, and it has to do with the alkalinity of the soil. So if you want your hydrangea to be blue, it needs more acidic soil. You could put something called aluminum phosphate on. It's a granule. Get it at any home center or garden center. And if you want it to be more pink, more basic, you could add a little lime.
Lime? Am I just taking a lime out of the kitchen and squeezing it?
No, Jen. It's another granule fertilizer. It becomes in a bag. Actually, I've never had anyone ask me if you take a lime from your fridge.
Welcome to my black thumb.
Well, you got to teach me some carpentry stuff then. When you're applying any kind of fertilizer or amending your soil, just put on a pair of gardening gloves, just something to protect a barrier between your hand and whatever fertilizer you're using. But try to go organic.
So is there anything else on the hydrangea that would tell me that I'm off track?
I mean, anything's possible. Sometimes with spots on the leaves, it could be from overhead sprinkling of your irrigation system. Water droplets on the leaves act as magnifying glasses and could burn the leaves that way. Mm-hmm. But typically, they're pretty disease resistant.
Interesting.
If they start to brown at the edges, it could be they're dehydrated, they need more water. For the majority of plants, having a drip system around the plant is very important. It helps save on water. It's more efficient. And then the water goes right to the roots. And then you don't have that fear of your leaves getting burned.
If I am totally at a loss for what I have in my backyard, are there any apps or ways that I could discover what exactly I have so I know how to care for it?
There's quite a few apps these days. If you have an iPhone, take a picture of the flower or the leaf or the bud or the bark of the tree, and then go to the bottom. There's a little eye with a circle around it. You click on that, and then usually as the top line, there's a little leaf, and then you click on it, and it tells you the plant's name and similar images to see if you could fact check if you took the right picture. It's usually right. I wouldn't say it's 100% right, but there's also apps like Picture This. It helps you identify the plant, whether it's a bud or a twig or a leaf or a flower. It's also very helpful to say, if you think you have a disease on your plant, you take a picture of the diseased leaf or the brown spot, and it'll tell you if it's burned from a chemical or if it's burned from water or if you have a fungus or mildew, and then we'll give usually some natural remedy to take care of it. And learn about what you have in your yard. It's so important. Then you know how to care for it, and the plant will be a better performer.
I think I have a long way to go, Jen.
No, I believe in you, Jen.
Well, thank you for this information. It is so unbelievably helpful.
Well, let me know if you have any other questions.
I will, I'm sure. That was This Old House landscape contractor, Jen Nawada. For more landscaping tips, go to thisoldhouse.com. And now it's time for one last thing. My favorite tool.
Hey, I'm Zach Detmore, general contractor for the show. My favorite tool is an A-frame extension ladder combo. So this is basically a ladder that does a couple things. There is a hinge point in the middle, and it has 3 positions. One is straight, so you have what we call an extension ladder, something you lean against a house. The other is an A-frame ladder, so think of a step ladder, but you can walk up and down both sides of it. And then the third position is flat, so it's collapsed and it's 2 ladders laying on top of each other, which makes it easier to carry and transport. You could actually fit a 20-foot extension ladder inside your vehicle because it collapsed down to roughly a quarter of the size of when it's expanded. It's an amazing tool.
We'll see you next week on This Old House Radio Hour. Our show is distributed by and co-produced by LAist Studios and APM, American Public Media. This Old House Radio Hour was created and produced by Ember 20. Listen to new episodes of the podcast every Tuesday on your app of choice. You can follow This Old House on all the socials at This Old House, all one word. We'll see you next week.